There it is. He timed it right.
Counting to explode with the left. Oh, and that right, but Davis took off some of the steam of the punch, but still.
Welcome to the motherfucking lady. We're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. Guess who's been added to the undercard of Josh Warrington versus Lee Wood 2? None other than Meatball Molly. Molly McCann, attempting to advance to a professional record of 3-0 in what will be her third professional boxing match since migrating from mixed martial arts over to pugilism, a strategic signing for Matchroom, figuring that Molly McCann already achieved some accord in the octagon. Maybe some of that will spill over into the boxing ring as she attempts to make her bones as a professional boxer in what is today's super bantamweight division. Super bantamweight, that's where Ellie Scottney reigns as unified champion and where Mayeli reigns as well, ahead of their fight with each other for undisputed. Don't expect Meatball Molly to face the winner. She only debuted as a professional in September of last year, and she's only 2 going on 3-0. Because she's only 3-0, you can expect another Ebony Cotton, Kate Radomska kind of opponent. You can expect it to be a developmental fight because that's what she needs. Development. The feeling must be for Matchroom that by the time Molly is ready to challenge for an alphabet title, the landscape will look very different, as here and now, she stands no chance of winning a belt from Ellie or Mayeli. But later on, when different fighters are holding those different alphabet titles, she might stand a better chance. This is still one of the deeper divisions in all of women's boxing. This is where former champion Nazarena Romero campaigns, unbeaten up-and-comers Micaiah Krebs and Johanna Wanyu.
It's a deep division.
Even after Ellie Scottney and Mayeli Flores do what they do and the winner of that fight moves on, maybe moves up, it'll still be a deep division after that. So Molly McCann has still got to tread carefully. She's rough around the edges, but fun to watch. Very strong, packs a strong backhand, really commits to her power shots. Coming from a varied combat background, Molly is not afraid to get into a tear-up, which lends itself to her entertainment value. She just needs to tighten up a bit. Though Molly McCann never officially won a title in the UFC, she hopes to do that now in boxing. Will it be easier for her? Well, there is a lot more chicanery in boxing, isn't there? So it might be. Not because boxing is an easier sport, but because there are more titles to win in this sport. 4. As opposed to the one you see in the UFC. In boxing, there are 4 separate major titles that you can fight for. That's 4 separate paths that you can peruse. You have to choose the right one. So we don't yet know who it is Molly is going to be fighting, though as stated, because it's only her 3rd professional boxing match, you can expect it to be an Ebony Cotton kind of opponent, another Kate Radomska kind of opponent, perhaps in an 8-rounder, as they build up Meatball Molly's stamina to eventually fight in 10-rounders for world titles. We'll see. Look for the ring return of Molly McCann on the undercard of Lee Wood versus Josh Warrington 2. Men's super lightweight news. Former champion Keyshawn Davis says, "I'm going to be on that pound-for-pound list." Keyshawn Davis says this is the year he cracks the top 10. It'll take more than a win over Jermaine Ortiz to do that. With Keyshawn Davis on the comeback trail, with a January 31st fight against Jermaine Ortiz on the books, he joined Brian Custer to talk about his career and recent turmoil, how things have turned around for him, and what he's looking to do now that he feels he's back on track. Here's some of what he had to say. "I've lost a little bit of faith in Keyshawn, admittedly. I was really high on him while he was at 135 and doing what he was doing, but because he's the one who derailed himself, that communicates instability. Putting Shakur aside, I feel like I'm the best at 135, said Keyshawn. I feel like I'm the best at 140. I feel like I'm the best at 147. That's the reason why I want to go to 147, to prove that. I'm going to be a small guy at 147. I'm going to be knocking those guys out the same way I was knocking guys out at 135. The same way I'm about to knock Jermaine Ortiz out at 140. 2026, I'm going to be on that pound-for-pound list. 2026, y'all are going to be looking at Keyshawn like he's about to take over the game.
Sounds good.
God willing, I'm going to do that. God gave me the ability to say this. I'm 13-0, and the entire world knows me for a reason. The the entire world's been waiting for me, and I genuinely feel like when I knock Jermaine out January 31st, they are going to be saying Keyshawn is the next face of boxing.
I would actually be impressed if he did that. If he stops Jermaine Ortiz, to my knowledge, Jermaine has never been stopped.
On why he split with trainer Bo-Mac McIntyre, Keyshawn said, "Honestly, I love Bo-Mac. I've got love for them. Like, I just saw Terrence Crawford yesterday in the gym, gave him a handshake. I still got love for those guys, man. I just hope that just because I feel like that I decided to move forward with my home team that I came up with, a team that I've been knowing for over 10 years, I hope B&B can accept that."
Sometimes the comforts of home and familiarity don't elicit the same fine-tuning as something else. It's the difference between working out at home and working out outside, in a gym setting, around other people.
What are you saying?
Just because Keyshawn has been around his current team for 10 years or so and they all know each other doesn't mean they can do for him what Bo-Mac could do for him.
Also, I would like to say, once they won that fight with Canelo, and I'm just like, damn, man, Omaha is doing their thing. They came up together. They didn't start off as a powerful team, but they grew into that. So that inspired me to do that with my home team as well, on his future lying at 140 or 147. Whatever I want to do, I will say this. I'm going for the biggest fights. I'm 26, and I'm trying to get it poppin' right now. Devin Haney said we can fight. He tweeted me yesterday. He said we can fight. So if my big fight is at 147, let's get it on.
Keyshawn has got some big fish to fry and some big names in mind. Not just Devin Haney.
I think I will knock Tank out. He's too small, and I can really punch, and I'm smart, bro. I'm super smart, bro. And I just feel like I'm Tank Kryptonite. I really do feel that way. I'm the last person on Tank list. Like, I just got that I got a worse mentality than him, and he knows this. Like, what people don't realize is I sparred Tank when I was like 16 years old, and we was about to fight outside of the ring. Like, Tank already know what kind of mentality I'm coming with. Like, I got that shit that he got, but my shit is a little bit worse. Honestly, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I really honestly think, like, I'm the last person on Tank list. You know what I'm saying? And if he send me a contract, honestly, bro, for my honest opinion, bro, I think I will knock Tank out. He's too small, and I can really punch, and I'm smart, bro. I'm super smart, bro. And I just feel like I'm Tank Kryptonite. I really do feel that way.
Don't worry, Keyshawn, because Tank's not going to send you a contract. There have been so many other fighters that were more well-established, well-known than Keyshawn Davis is now, and Tank gave them the cold shoulder.
Tank didn't send them a contract.
That I don't think here and now that Keyshawn Davis has left the 135-pound division, Gervonta will send him a contract. We don't actually know what the status of Gervonta Davis is right now and his ongoing legal situation with that stripper that he put his hands on.
But there is a feeling that behind the scenes, he likely paid whoever he had to pay to make this go away, because things have gone relatively quiet when it comes to that and when it comes to him.
Put your thinking caps on for a second, kids. For that stripper that he put the paws on, what do you think is worth more to her? Prosecuting Gervonta Davis to the fullest extent of the law, or using this situation to siphon some money out of him?
The money!
Goddamn fucking right it's the money. Don't rule out the possibility that Gervonta Davis may yet make this all go away by cutting the check. May yet get out of this, though even if he does, I don't expect a fight between him and Keyshawn Davis to materialize at any point. I told all of you a long time ago, Gervonta Davis's career will come and go without a Vasyl Lomachenko fight, without a Devin Haney fight, without a Shakur Stevenson fight, without a Teofimo Lopez fight. Without a Keyshawn Davis fight. Gervonta Davis is coming up on 30 years old, if he's not there already. So when I hear Keyshawn Davis saying, if Gervonta Davis sends me a contract, Gervonta's not going to send you a contract. He didn't send your buddy one. He's not going to send you one. Don't waste your time on that.
Devin Haney.
Devin, it's like a bitch. The Devin Haney fight stands a better chance of happening because even if you don't like Devin's base style, and I don't, his track record shows he's willing to fight people.
I like Keyshawn's base style a lot better. Keyshawn is best described as an educated boxer-puncher. Devin is a pure boxer. You know how that goes.
Pure Boxer's got the edge in that stylistic matchup, unless that boxer-puncher can show that he's more than a boxer-puncher. If he can tweak things enough that he's more like a pressure guy.
What's the fucking difference?
Pure Boxer and a boxer-puncher are of a similar mindset. So in looking for the openings and the opportunities to get punches off safely, the boxer-puncher ends up playing the Pure Boxer's game.
Right.
Where the pressure fighter is playing a different game entirely. Not on the Pure Boxer's terms, not playing by the Pure Boxer's rules, barreling forward, forcing them to trade, forcing them to fight.
That's why pressure fighters are a Pure Boxer's kryptonite.
More often than not, Keyshawn Davis, I think, to win that fight with Devin, he's got to approach it like a pressure guy, because as a boxer-puncher, just fencing and feinting and looking for openings that aren't going to be there because Devin's not going to give them to you. He's going to stay on his toes, behind his jab, using the ring, moving around.
Know what he does.
I don't know if Keyshawn is one of those special fighters, those rare fighters, that has two base styles. The really good guys usually do, like Floyd Mayweather. He was a pure boxer and a boxer-puncher. The same could be said for Crawford.
He was too.
Canelo had two base styles. At first, he was a boxer-puncher who focused on countering. Then over time, he became more of a pressure guy, or at least he could mimic one.
Think Keyshawn could do that?
The fight that he's about to have with Jermaine Ortiz is a good rehearsal for the Devin Haney fight.
Jermaine Ortiz likes to box. Jermaine Ortiz likes to move, stay on his toes.
If you can get to him, if you can stop him, that increases your chances of stopping Devin. Jermaine is not a carbon copy of Devin Haney. But Jermaine can make himself a moving target like Devin Haney, and it will be an encouraging omen if you can knock his block off. We'll see if Keyshawn does. Men's junior middleweight news. On the heels of what is supposed to be the collapse of Boots versus Ortiz as a fight, Virgil Ortiz's manager took to his own social media, his Instagram stories, and said, "We are not moving on."
Contrary to what Oscar De La Hoya said yesterday, who promotes Virgil, Rick Mirigian, who manages Virgil, says it's not over.
But who out of these members of the same team actually has the final say? According to Rick, it's him and Virgil. He tagged DAZN Boxing and said, "Try at least talking to the people that have the contractual right and authority to make a deal. That's usually how it works and how it gets done. We are here to discuss, and I am easy to reach."
So now we know that there is dissension amongst the ranks of Virgil Ortiz's team, that Rick Mirigian was who Oscar De La Hoya was talking about when he said there are managers that are trying to make backdoor deals.
Also, every time a manager tries to be a hero and negotiate behind the promoter's back, they lose money for the fighter. And at the same time, violate the Muhammad Ali Act. And you know what? I'm gonna start sending legal letters enforcing this because I'm fucking tired of it. Some managers are just full of shit and I will be exposing them, trust me.
The difference in the tune that Rick is singing and Oscar is singing makes it that much more obvious it was Rick that Oscar was talking about 2 or 3 days ago. So is this supposed to be the proverbial ray of light at the end of the tunnel that keeps hope alive for the Ennis versus Ortiz fight? In this situation, who's got the final say? Is it the manager or is it the promoter?
Fighters have made fights against the promoter's best wishes, Oscar in particular, in the past. When Canelo Alvarez fought Arislandi Lara, Oscar didn't want him to do that when Ryan Garcia fought Gervonta Davis.
Under those terms, with those weight stipulations, Oscar didn't want Ryan to do that, but he did it. It all happened. So is it possible that against his best wishes, this fight could happen without his blessing?
Anything is possible. However, Rick Mirigian has the same reputation for being an obstruction artist that Oscar De La Hoya has, so that if the hope of this fight happening all rests on Rick and what Rick can make happen.
I love it, but I get the feeling that this fight's doomed. I get the feeling that with just the feeling in the air, the fact that this is taking so long, the fact that these kind of things are coming out. You know, I always say in two sides of the deal, there's guys who make deals, there's guys who disrupt deals. I feel like this deal is getting disrupted, and it's bothering me in my soul because this fight needs to happen and needs to happen now. I don't think this fight's going to happen anytime soon.
Me neither. The shifting blame here, like so many shifting tectonic plates under the Earth's crust, the mental.
And what The fuck are you talking about?
A little over a week ago, the blame was laid at the feet of Rick Mirigian for demanding too much money for the Boots fight. Remember? He's the one started talking about $10 million.
It was a little over a week ago. A little over a week later, the blame now shifts to Oscar De La Hoya. He's the one getting in the way, and Rick is supposed to be the voice of reason.
So what if these are just two sides of the same coin, playing good cop and bad cop for the optics?
Oscar pisses people off all the time. He doesn't give a fuck what people think.
But he might care what they think about his fighter, and growing frustration with him because he still has that fighter to sell.
Saying they're trying to salvage Virgil's image?
What's getting lost in all of this is Virgil Ortiz's voice. What does Virgil want to do? Because when the two fighters want the fight, they tend to fight. Stephen Fulton wanted the Inoue fight, even though the PBC wanted him to move up and fight Brandon again. He took the Inoue fight against their best wishes. Spence took the Crawford fight.
They wanted him to move up and fight Keith Thurman. He took the Crawford fight instead against their best wishes. Because when the fighters want the fight, it tends to happen.
You're hearing what Rick Mirigian has to say about the situation, what Oscar has to say about the situation, questions about who's got the final say when Virgil's the one's going to be fighting. What does he have to say? What does he want to do? Because he's not a little boy.
Virgil is in his late 20s. He's coming up on 30, to where this many people shouldn't have to do this much talking for him. Do you want the Boots fight or not?
It's boring. It's really just boring. Every single set of negotiations involving two halfway decent fighters on the American continent ends up like this. It's like pulling teeth.
This is the most predominant story in the boxing space right now, at least in America, over a fight that I don't even think is all that big anyway. If it happens, then great.
But if it doesn't, I didn't think it was going to, because by now, I'm used to this. I'm not even amused by it. This is the kind of argument that a couple of years ago would have had people at each other's throats. But collectively, I think the boxing fans in America are just tired of it all.
Boardroom fatigue.
You could argue that this ain't the kind of fight that happens in a jiffy, but why not? Virgil ain't Manny, and Boots ain't Mayweather. Virgil ain't Spence, and Boots ain't Crawford.
You guys ain't nowhere near that established yet to where making a fight between yous should be this difficult. You say that, they should be given a chance to develop, to get there. But how long is that gonna take?
5 years like Maypac did? 5 years like Spence and Crawford did?
Or no years, because it didn't happen, like Joshua and Wilder. I believe that in the sport right now, given the state that it's in, you have to strike while the iron is hot. And in the golden era of boxing, when it was more of a mainstream sport, you didn't have to worry about a fight happening in a timely fashion. The powers that be and the promoters knew that it needed to, because that was their chance to make money.
Differences over time in boxing's infrastructure and the relationship between networks and promoters have led to a more laxed brand of promotion that takes longer for fights to make when we don't need that anymore. We can't do that with every fight.
Sometimes to make an omelet, you gotta crack a couple of eggs. To crown the next star in boxing, maybe one of these guys gotta lose.
And that is risky, but that's what makes boxing exciting. That's what makes people watch. High stakes.
The gamble.
Where it's very obvious that the people on Virgil's side don't want to. So whatever. You don't want to do the fight, don't do the fight.
Whatever.